Hello, my name is Angelica Adcock and I work at Chestnut Health Systems as the first IL representative. Today I'm coming on ROSC YouTube channel to talk about why it's important to speak out about mental health. Before I go into this video, make sure to like and subscribe so you can see more videos related to recovery. While there's so many reasons why it's important to speak out about mental health, today I'm going to be focusing on three. First, which is awareness. I went on NAMI to find some statistics that I wanted to share with you today. 1 in 5 US adults experience mental illness each year. 1 in 6 US youth aged 6 to 17 experience a mental health disorder each year. The most common mental health disorder in US adults is anxiety disorders, which 19.1% have. Major depressive disorders are prevalent in 7.2% of the US population. Post-traumatic stress disorder, also known as PTSD, affects 3.6% of the population. 9% of the US population will have an eating disorder sometime in their life. Eating disorders are among the deadliest mental illness, second to opiate use disorder. 19.3% of US adults who have problems with mental health also experience a substance use disorder. So after reading through those statistics, doesn't it seem like a lot of people are struggling with mental health? But I feel like there's not really a lot of representation or education about mental health. Not having conversations about mental health is one of the reasons why it makes it such a silent killer. Mental health issues and suicide needs to be spoken about because it helps save lives, especially in the LGBTQIA community. Statistics have shown that lesbian, gay, and bisexual youth are 4 times more likely to attempt suicide than straight youth. Transgender adults are nearly 12% more likely to attempt suicide than the general population. People in the LGBTQ community often struggle with finding community supports, resources, and sometimes are discriminated against. Another reason why it's important to have awareness about mental health is because it's just as important as physical health. When people see others struggling with physical health problems, like having a broken leg or in a wheelchair, we often do more things for them. We feel empathetic for people in those situations. You can see people opening doors for people that are in those conditions, but we don't really see that same type of empathy for people struggling with mental health disorders. Physical health disorders are visible and mental health is invisible. And since mental health disorders aren't in sight, people tend to not really realize they're going on. And this is why it's so important to speak out about mental health and educate people about the difficulties and warning signs that people are struggling, because you may save a life. If you feel like you know someone that is struggling, you should ask them how they're doing, because you may prevent suicide or relapse in a mental health disorder. Creating awareness for mental health disorders gives representation. As we've seen so far, there's not really a lot of education and talk about mental health, so creating awareness will give a face to mental health. We can show people that aren't in the field or aren't struggling with mental health disorder that there are people out there that are struggling. The second reason why I think it's important to speak out about mental health is to create stigma reduction. Ending stigma around mental health will decrease the physical and social isolation. A lot of people don't speak out about their problems with mental health because they're scared they'll be judged or discriminated against, which is rightfully so, because some people have not so nice opinions about people struggling. But being able to end stigma around mental health will also promote systematic change. A couple examples that I've pulled up about this is, like, if someone has a sick day, it's not because they just have like a stomach ache. It can be because someone is having a really bad depression day or is so anxious that they can't get out of bed. More systematic changes can be creating laws around mental health. So instead of someone getting arrested because they are enraged in public or maybe going some sort of mental health crises, it's not really beneficial for someone to be locked up and put behind bars. If they may be experiencing some sort of mental health crisis, it'd be more beneficial for someone to be brought to a mental hospital if having a public crisis, rather than just being arrested and receiving no help behind bars. Another change could be through insurance. Some insurance companies don't include mental health and behavioral health in their coverage plans. This isn't really important because this stops people from seeking treatment. A lot of people can't afford to seek treatment and just pay out of pocket. And kind of going with the insurance thing, if we reduce stigma, then we will increase and improve access to care. And this is important for rural towns and big cities, because in a lot of rural towns there might not even be mental health facilities. And then in cities, there's just such a big population of people struggling with mental health that they're running out of resources. So being able to break the stigma is important because we can create more resources for people in the community. If feeling safe and comfortable, it can be important to speak out about your mental health. While doing this, you may be able to be a part of some sort of research and be able to provide more accurate information about people struggling with mental health disorders. While doing this, we can create more research, improve treatments, and provide correct services for people that are struggling. Another way we can reduce stigma is around correcting people that say not so nice things about people who are struggling with mental health disorders. So say you're out in public with someone that you're friends with, and you see someone crying hysterically on the train. Your friend says, "Oh my God, they're hysterical. What is their issue?" Instead of just agreeing with them and laughing and pushing it aside, maybe you can have a conversation with them. You could say, well, maybe they're having a panic attack or a bad day. Maybe they just heard some bad news. And the last reason why it's so important to speak about mental health is because we can create communities together. I'm not saying that you need to shake someone's hand and say, "Hi, my name is Angelica Adcock and I struggle with mental illness." But when feeling comfortable and safe, you may, and you feel like the time is right, you can open up and have conversations with people surrounding your mental health. This can be really important for people because you can find a good support group around you. And you can also find people that are struggling. Because if someone doesn't open up and have a conversation about things they struggle with, then no one will. So maybe you can be the first person to talk about something you're struggling with, and people can open up about their issues as well. Another way we can create communities is starting support groups. Support groups would never be a thing if people were never vulnerable enough to attend these meetings and talk about their problems. So opening up and speaking about things can create more communities. So you've heard all the statistics and you know that mental health is not being spoken out about. What are you going to do to help raise awareness? Maybe you can send this video to a few coworkers, share it on Facebook, but make sure to give this video a like and a comment and recommend anything else that you'd like us to talk about. And remember, please be an ally and an advocate for people struggling with mental health disorders. You may be saving a life. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.